Have you ever wondered what actually makes the United States so special? Is it the tall skyscrapers in New York, the endless highways cutting across the desert, or the famous landmarks like the Statue of Liberty and the Golden Gate Bridge? Those things are impressive, no doubt. But the real beauty of America lives much deeper than concrete, steel, and monuments. Today, we're going to explore the cultural beauty of the USA, the kind of beauty you don't always see in photos, but you can feel in the people, the streets, the music, and the stories. In this video, we're not talking about politics, headlines, or stereotypes. We're talking about the living, breathing culture of America, the diversity, the food, the music, the sports, the celebrations, the creativity, and the spirit of freedom that has inspired people all over the world. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the United States is more than just a country on a map. It's an idea, a story, and a constantly changing experiment in how different people can live together. So, let's dive into the hidden cultural beauty of America. America, a land of diversity. Many people. One nation, the United States, is one of the most diverse countries on Earth. Over 330 million people live here, coming from almost every corner of the world, with hundreds of different backgrounds, beliefs, and traditions. More than 350 languages are spoken across the country, from English and Spanish to Chinese, Tagalog, Arabic, Hindi, and many more. The USA has the largest foreign-born population in the world, with over 44 million immigrants calling it home. That's why people call the US a melting pot. But there's another way to describe it that might be even more accurate: a cultural mosaic. In a melting pot, everything blends together and becomes the same. In a mosaic, every piece keeps its own color and shape, but together they create a bigger, more beautiful picture. Walk through a city like New York, Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago, or Miami, and you'll hear different languages, smell different foods, and see different traditions all on the same street. You can have breakfast at a Mexican bakery, lunch at a Korean barbecue, and dinner at an Ethiopian restaurant, all in one day. This constant mix of cultures doesn't just make America interesting. It shapes how Americans think, talk, create, and dream. Food, the taste of America. Every dish has a story. If you really want to understand a country, start with its food. In America, food isn't just something you eat. Food is history. Food is migration. Food is identity. American cuisine is not one single thing, because America itself is not one single story. Instead, it's a fusion of flavors from all over the world. Italian pasta and pizza, Mexican tacos and burritos, Chinese noodles and dim sum, Indian curries and spices, Middle Eastern kebabs and falafel, Caribbean jerk chicken and plantains, Southern fried chicken, gumbo, and barbecue. These dishes didn't just arrive in America, they were reinvented here. Tacos became Tex-Mex. Pizza became deep dish in Chicago, and giant slices in New York. Chinese food turned into orange chicken and chow mein that you might not even find in China. The US has over 600,000 plus restaurants, food trucks, diners, cafes, and stands offering tastes from almost every country in the world. Food festivals pop up everywhere, from the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, which mixes music and Creole cuisine, to street food festivals in Los Angeles and New York that bring global flavors to one city block. In America, sharing a meal is sharing a piece of culture. Thanksgiving dinner, backyard barbecues, Super Bowl snacks, Sunday brunch. All of these moments are less about the food on the plate and more about the people around the table. Music, the soul of America, from pain to power. If there is one area where American culture has touched almost every part of the world, it's music. The United States gave birth to some of the most powerful and influential music genres in history. Jazz, born in New Orleans in the early 1900s, created by African American musicians. Jazz became a language of freedom, improvisation, and emotion. It changed the way the world understood music. Blues. The blues grew out of the struggles of African Americans in the South. It expressed pain, longing, hope, and resilience. From the blues, rock and many other genres were born. Rock and roll. Rock became the voice of youth and rebellion. It challenged old rules, inspired new fashion, and pushed culture forward. Hip-hop. Starting in the Bronx, New York, in the 1970s, hip-hop began as a voice for communities that were often ignored. Today, it is one of the most popular and influential music styles in the world, shaping slang, fashion, and attitude far beyond the U.S. The U.S. has the world's largest music market, worth over tens of billions of dollars every year. But beyond the numbers, music in America is deeply personal. It's protest music, it's church choirs and gospel, it's country songs on long highways. It's jazz in a small club at midnight. It's rap battles on street corners and beats made in tiny bedrooms. American music is how people turn their feelings, their anger, love, frustration, dreams, and pain into something powerful and beautiful. 4. Sports. The culture of competition and community. America is one of the most sports-obsessed countries on the planet. But in the U.S., sports are more than just games. They're part of the national identity. Major sports like American football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and soccer are followed by millions. High school games pack small-town stadiums. College sports feel almost as intense as professional leagues. The Super Bowl isn't just a football game. It's a cultural event, watched by over 100 million people each year, complete with huge halftime performances and some of the most expensive commercials in the world. Sports bring people together across race, religion, politics, and class. For a few hours, everyone in the stadium or in front of the TV is on the same side, cheering for the same team, feeling the same highs and lows. From kids playing basketball on street courts, to families wearing their favorite team's jerseys, to cities celebrating championships with giant parades. Sports help build community, pride, and a sense of belonging. Festivals. Celebrating every story. One of the most beautiful things about American culture is how many different festivals and celebrations exist side by side. America has national holidays like 4th of July, Independence Day, fireworks, barbecues, parades, and a celebration of the country's founding. Thanksgiving, a day focused on gratitude, family, and food. Halloween. Costumes, candy, and creativity. But that's just the beginning. Because of the country's diversity, you'll also find celebrations like Christmas, Lunar New Year, Diwali, Eid, Hanukkah Pride parades, cultural heritage parades like St. Patrick's Day, Caribbean carnivals, and more. In cities all over the U.S., you'll see streets closed down for cultural festivals full of music, dancing, costumes, and food from all over the world. Each festival carries its own traditions, stories, and beliefs. But in America, they all share the same space. That coexistence, different cultures celebrating side by side, is one of the country's quiet strengths. Art, movies, and storytelling. America on screen. When people around the world imagine America, a lot of those images come from one place: Hollywood. Hollywood isn't just a film industry. It's a cultural engine. It produces hundreds of films every year. It creates characters, stories, and worlds that people fall in love with. It sets global trends in fashion, language, and lifestyle. But American storytelling doesn't stop at movies. The U.S. also leads in TV series and streaming shows, animation and cartoons, documentaries, YouTube content and social media creators, podcasts, and digital storytelling. The American entertainment industry is worth over $100 billion annually, making it the largest in the world. Through movies and shows, America tells stories about love, struggle, crime, adventure, superheroes, ordinary families, and everything in between. Sometimes these stories are exaggerated. Sometimes they are raw and real. But together, they shape how the world sees America and how Americans see themselves. The spirit of freedom, an idea bigger than borders. One of the most famous words associated with the United States is freedom. You see it in movies, hear it in speeches, and read it in history books. But what does it actually mean in everyday life? The culture of America is deeply influenced by ideas like individual rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to build a business or follow a dream, freedom to challenge authority and demand change. The U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights have inspired many other nations to think about how to protect people as freedoms. Of course, America is not perfect, and the struggle to live up to these ideals has been long and difficult. From the civil rights movement to women's rights, from LGBTQ rights to immigrant rights, American history is full of fights to expand freedom and equality, but that ongoing struggle is part of what defines American culture. The belief that ordinary people can speak up, organize, and push the country to become better than it was yesterday for many immigrants, refugees, and dreamers from around the world. America represents not a guarantee, but a chance to build something new, to reinvent themselves, and to reach for a life they couldn't have elsewhere. Innovation, a culture of what's next. America is also a nation obsessed with the future, from Silicon Valley to research labs, from garages to university campuses. The U.S. has a long tradition of innovation. It's the birthplace of companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, Amazon. These companies didn't just change America, they changed how the entire world communicates, works, shops, and travels. The U.S. regularly leads global rankings in patents, technology startups, and scientific research. NASA's missions, medical breakthroughs, and digital inventions all reflect a cultural value deeply rooted in the American mindset. What's next? What else is possible? Innovation in America isn't just about making money. It's about curiosity, ambition, and the belief that one idea in the hands of the right person can change millions of lives. So, what is the cultural beauty of America? It's easy to point at skyscrapers, highways, and famous monuments. But the real beauty of the United States doesn't live in its buildings or its brands. It lives in its people, in the immigrant who arrives with one suitcase and a big dream, in the artist who paints their story on a city wall, in the musician who turns pain into a song, in the families who blend traditions from 2, 3, or 4 different countries into one home. America is a nation built by immigrants, a nation built by stories, a nation built by culture, always changing, always arguing, always evolving. It is not a perfect place. It has deep problems, real conflicts, and painful history, but that, too, is part of its story. The constant push to become more fair, freer, and truer to the ideas written at its foundation. And that ongoing journey That mix of diversity, creativity, struggle, and hope is what makes the cultural beauty of America so powerful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into culture and life around the world. Now, it's your turn. What part of American culture do you find the most beautiful? The food, the music, the freedom, the innovation, or something else? Comment below with your country and your answer. See you in the next video.